the bottom of it with your host, Josh Moriarty.
Welcome back to another episode of The Bottom of It with me, your host, Josh Moriarty. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your patience. I'm sorry it took me a while to get these new episodes up and running, but I've been a busy man, okay? I'm one of the laziest, busiest people I know. I can just say whatever I want because it's my podcast and I'm the boss. I can say about how busy I am, but no one will really know. I could be lying. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I have been. Well, Miami Horror's been on tour. So I've been doing that, doing all the colours, making some other music, doing shit. So yeah, but anyway, thank you. Here we go. We've got an episode today with Monte Morgan, who is one half of Client Liaison. He is the singer in the band and all-round fashion icon, along with his partner, Harvey Miller, who's also one smooth criminal. These two... they're from the future of the 80s of Australia, of now. If you have seen any of their videos, these guys are amazing. They don't miss a detail. I'm extremely impressed with their craftsmanship, with the way that they present themselves. They're always immaculately dressed. Their live shows are impeccable. They've always got new outfits. They've got new concepts. They are brilliant. I think most people could learn a lot from observing how Client Liaison do business. So I sat down with Monty, and what did we talk about? We talk about drinking Foster's, his obsession with Prince, Big Kev, how he'd also like to start a cooking show. Yeah, all of that. So here we go, Monte Morgan, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy. So when did the album come out?
I think, I can't remember, September last year.
Okay.
October.
And you're happy with it?
Yeah, as soon as it was released, I knew what I wanted to change.
Right after it was done?
Yeah.
If you had the opportunity to go back and do it, would you do it?
Some things that subliminal things, definitely. But it's more just like what I want to do next.
Yeah, because I remember, I think John Lennon spoke to George Martin about how he really wanted to go back and change things, and probably may have tried to do it if he hadn't have died.
Wow.
Yes. It's kind of like George Lucas going back and changing Star Wars.
Yeah.
Don't fucking do it.
No, I don't think I actually ever would, and that's why I say subliminal, so it would be things that no one would notice but me.
Yeah.
So yeah, no.
Because it is, like the longer the time goes past, and in 20 years there'll be nothing you'd ever want to change, because you'll just look at your life at that moment and go, wow, I was really expressing me at that particular time, I think.
Yeah.
So where's it going for the next one?
Well, I just think our album had a lot of fun songs on it and not so many serious songs. Okay. And that was about the theme as well of diplomatic immunity, which was great. And it just happened that like some of the ones with that theme were quite old as well, but we still loved them. So then we ran with that theme, but I feel like it missed out on a kind of deep sentimentality that we'd had on our EP with songs like Feeling and Queen, like more serious side.
Yeah.
But my friend said you only realise what you want to change is when it's released. Do you know what I mean? When you let go, when you see it.
Yeah.
Everyone else can see it.
I think that definitely makes sense. It's interesting. How do you want people to... Do you have an idea of how you want people to perceive your band? Because it's obviously playful, which can be misconstrued as not a joke or something, but is that something... You're obviously very aware of that, but I don't think you're very serious about this, aren't you?
Yeah, always have been, and that was like a big hurdle at the start when we started performing live, because when we weren't on a serious stage, do you know what I mean? We're on small stages. We were just making do with what we had. We were finding clothes and making our own videos. So yeah, that was a hurdle that we just had to keep overcoming, just saying, no, we're serious. And I think when people saw us live and saw a video, they could connect to it seriously. But I think the next stage is kind of...
From now on, from moving forward from
now?
Yeah,
because, you know, like we started in the hip underground scene, and as we've become more popular, you kind of lose your connection to that because you're
there's always
venues.
another cooler, younger, fresher band.
Yeah.
Confidence Man seems to be.
Yeah.
So all right, Client Liaison's moved up now.
Exactly.
We've got another one.
Yeah. So.
Which is great though. It is nice to get out of that and start to actually move to that.
Totally,
that
it's an
level.
opportunity to change. Really, like I look at we did like a music video that had a lot of Ansett in it.
Yes.
We had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And that was awesome. Like we loved it. And then we were going to this guy out near the airport and we're buying all this Ansett gear and putting it in the clips and having it in the show. And then as soon as we released it, it was like, oh, no, that's done. Because we saw fans like dressing up in Ansett and it's like, nah, that's done. Let's just move on. So I think, we're coming to the middle stage of promoting our album. So I can already see things changing, dying off, just trying new things.
Yeah. What is it about that 80s Australian? Why that? Is it something that you grew up with? Is it something?
Yeah,
obviously you grew up with it, but I mean.
Yeah, but it's subliminally growing up because I was born in '85, so.
But it's not even that. The
90s.
90s was still the 80s in Australia.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing.
But to me, it starts with music. I just like that sophisticated synthesized sound. I particularly like Prince, and yeah, like when I was growing up, it really was grunge and hip hop actually.
Yeah.
And I didn't connect to that, and then later it was like, all kinds of rock and Radiohead, and I never connected to that. So when I found stuff from the 80s and early 90s, I was like, wow, and the 70s as well. I was like, this is incredible. And then also clothing, like I feel like music and clothing are so interconnected. Yeah, it just seemed like second nature to me. And Harvey had a similar interest, so that if, we found common ground there, we could have found common ground somewhere else maybe, but that's...
but very specifically Australian as well.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't feel like anyone's really done. I mean, I guess, okay, there's Australian hip hop, so that's one, very strong part of Australian culture, but in terms of the throwback, see, I mean, so will you progress? Will you move into the 90s, or do you move into now, or?
I think we already did move into the 90s. A lot of our early stuff.
I feel like the music definitely.
Yeah, the music. Yeah, we went into kind of early 90s house. And Harvey really introduced me to dance music because I was never akin to that. But I guess we're wanting to move international as well, starting to play shows overseas. So like.
Have you done much of that yet? Or?
Yeah, we've been to the States 3 times and Europe once. It was supporting Flight Facilities was the first time we did Europe and the States.
Yeah.
So just small club shows and festivals.
How was it received?
Yeah, amazing. It was
it would be.
Like we played a show in San Fran and there was this small group of diehard fans that were all dressed up as one of our video clips, and they had a Pretty Lovers themed after party with an ice swan and Client Liaison hors d'oeuvres, like oysters and things. And we turned up and they're like, oh my God, you're here. And they had this American slant on it. Like they got it, but they got it in a different way. It was pretty weird. So.
Well, I was thinking about that, how something like what you guys do translates. And I don't think Summer Heights High works fine overseas. People like the concept is bigger than just a country, or so of course people are going to understand.
Yeah,
they're not going to undersee what Bob Hawke's Yard Glass, like that's going to go past them.
Yeah,
but I think the look and all of those things as well.
I don't know. I guess it translates because it's music first, and there's an emotional connection to it. There's a lot of references that people don't get, but we almost like those references that they don't get. Like we drink Fosters, and they're like, yeah, cool. They don't see the irony in that. They don't see the absurdity in it. And then, or like the way we always pay out that Outback's restaurant in the States, and they have your Australian bloomin' onions, which we don't have bloomin' onions here, like we love that. So yeah, get footage of us eating bloomin' onions as Australians. Yeah.
Are you proud, are you a proud Australian? Is that a part of it?
It started from not being so proud, not feeling that welcome here. When I was younger, I'd always dress up and I'd get heckled a lot. And then I traveled to Asia and India, and I was like, there's something wrong with this country. We're not celebrating difference like we should. And there's the tall poppy syndrome.
Of course, yeah.
So I started writing a lot of poetry and producing music around Australia.
Traveling around Australia?
No, just making music all about Australia. I had this like Australiana medley that I produced that was like 15 songs in 15 minutes kind of thing, all about different parts of Australia. And it was kind of paying it out a bit, but also celebrating its psychedelic nature. And then End of the Earth was the first song that Harvey and myself released. And then Harvey put together all these clips of Australia that really celebrated Australia. And so that was a nice layered meaning. And so then to me, that song End of the Earth just took on a whole new meaning and started celebrating Australia. Okay. And then we started going and performing it live, and people started celebrating us. And so the whole thing flipped, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, okay.
So what you think of your country is just a state of mind, really.
Yes, of course. Are you influenced by... Is the current Australian culture that's an influence on you? Because I was thinking about this. What is it that's still, quintessentially Australian? Or as the years go by, do all countries sort of become diluted and lose their own essence?
No, I think that they're like, it's still strong. It's things like, this is years ago, but Stephen Bradbury in the Winter Olympics. Okay. He was the ice skater.
I'm a New Zealander, so I know a lot of Australian stuff because I've lived here for 30 years.
It's one of my favourite videos on YouTube. Okay. I actually saw it live at the time, but he was a figure skater in an event in the Winter Olympics. Small little ring, and he had no chance of winning. He somehow got into the final. They all crashed, and he won, and he became a hero.
Right. Cool runnings, but
reverse. Yeah. And everyone loves him, and he does motivational speaking, and it's like quintessentially Australian. Or Big Kev. I don't know if you...
Which one's Big Kev?
He was like a salesman on TV. I'm excited. And he was like this, big guy that was like at the barbecue, like really loud and boisterous. So like there's, Clive Palmer, like there's still these amazing figures. Yeah. There's still these classic larrikins, and there's these isotopes of Australia. It still comes through in good ways. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You mentioned Prince, because I was talking to Geordie Cleopold about Prince, and I've spoken to you about it. I remember when we did that tour together that you were quite obsessed for quite a long time. Yeah. I went through the same thing, I think I mentioned to you as well, where I just basically wanted to be him. Nice. And it took me a while to get out of it. Now apart from this poster up here that Aaron made for me, I moved on from it. But so were you following him on tour through America for a while? When he came to Australia, I'd see him in Melbourne and Sydney, and it was a pretty cool time because you could see the sound checks. He'd let you into the sound checks and the after parties, and he was in a great stage musically. When was this? This was 2002. Is that musicology? No, it was just before it. So he was doing a lot of jazz, and he did this amazing album called The Rainbow Children, with no promotion, which I love. And he was playing a lot of jazz at the time. And 2 years later, he blew up with musicology again. Yes. And then maybe in 2005, I was traveling to Cuba, so I went via Vegas. He had a club there, and he was playing there every weekend, and I saw him there and saw him at his after parties both nights. So any opportunity I could see him, I would, and I spent a lot of time on the forums researching him, a lot of time reading, collecting, trading DVDs. Right, yeah. You were deep, yeah. Well, he has that effect on people, I think. It's funny with of those influences where you've got to let them go and start to be yourself, which of course you have. Yeah. But was there a turning point for you? Oh, for me, Prince is just always so unattainable.
Like, I was like, there's no way I could ever touch that.
I think that's what I came to the same conclusion.
So, but I was at that conclusion pretty early on.
Yeah.
Because I didn't consider myself a musician. I considered myself a performer. I did a lot of theatre. I was doing some filmmaking, and I was doing a lot of poetry. So, like, the thing that I focused on poetry a lot, actually. And Prince is an amazing poet, but not always. You know, sometimes he does.
Sometimes
gold.
He's a terrible
Sometimes
poet.
he just churns it out for the sake of music, which is fine. But so yeah, I because he's so unattainable, I just went to other things, and I think everyone goes through that belief that, oh, I can't play an instrument, I can't do that. I've never been able to do that. How do people? It's like just work. You just put your mind to it. So
yeah. Well, the sooner you realize that pretty much everyone is kind of the same as you, and that we all were just born and we're all making everything up as we go along.
Yeah.
The sooner you realize that you can pretty much be as good as anyone else.
Yeah.
As long as you're doing the thing that you're naturally good at, I suppose.
Right. Yeah, strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, of course. But there's no one that's really, and then there are freaks like Prince, I guess, though.
But yeah, I was reading something the other day from his early engineer saying he was an amazing drummer. He was an okay keyboard player, okay bass player, but such a shocking guitar player. And he was fumbling around making excuses for himself.
Really?
And this is in his second album. It's like, but you look at him at the end of his career as just a magician. So
keep working.
that wasn't his initial strength. So it's like, yeah.
Do you have is there a sort of an ethic for you or for your band with the art that you create? Does it have to have a certain thing? Is there always a message for you, or?
I don't think so. I remember Ben saying something. He had
Miami Horror Band.
Yeah, Miami Horror Band. I
haven't interviewed him yet. Actually,
Yeah,
I want to interview him, but I'm waiting till a little further down the track.
He had something.
For me, I want everything to at least be the best thing it can be, and for me to feel at least 90% proud of that it's completed in the best way and that you've worked the hardest, so that nothing that your name is attached to is ever bad quality.
Is that almost like a fear, or?
I guess so. Yeah, that's definitely my musical ethic, is to try and always make it the best it can be. So everything is of a particular quality. But some other people's is they want to always make people smile when they perform, or there's many different things. I'm just interested if you have.
Yeah, for me, it's just getting that feeling of excitement when you're creating it. Finding that feeling of excitement, letting go, not actually thinking about.
But then when it comes to performance and your band and everything as well, is there something else with your live show? Or because you guys don't really fuck anything up. Like no. But you, it seems to me that you work extremely hard in making sure you get the thing, like the commitment to the piece.
Yeah.
That video, it's not the Off-White Limousine, it was the one before that. What's that one?
Wildlife?
I think it's Wildlife. Yeah, and I was just blown away by how perfectly executed that was.
Right.
And I really, really admire that in you guys, that you put that time into detail as well.
Yeah, detail I think is probably a big one. Like, we film every show and we watch everyone back.
Interesting.
And that's
wow, that's amazing.
You just learn so much from that. You just instantly, I sound horrible, I look horrible. You just you improve it, and you make notes on the lighting, on the sound, on the choreography, on the costume, on the performance, everything. It's I
think we've only just started doing that with Miami Horror. This tour we've recorded, and it's made us so much better already.
Awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, you don't really have any idea, do you?
No.
You think you're nailing it. I'm the greatest. And you listen back.
Totally. You're in another world. Yeah.
Is there something that is there something you haven't done? Is there a point where you would be able to rest and say you've achieved everything? As an artist, do you think it ever gets to a point where you've completed your life's work,
no,
and then you can just retire? Are you always?
No.
You're always driven. There's always things.
Yeah, you're never satisfied. Yeah, think that's important in some regards. Yeah.
Is it the same with Harvey, the two of you?
I imagine so. I haven't heard him say that. But no, it's just a cycle. You have to do it. The joy, it's a drug, really.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it? Is it, there's something that just, for me, it's music constantly just coming to me. But if you said that you're not necessarily, or you weren't, is music coming to you all the time? Or do you
No.
So you have to go and make it?
Yeah, it's, it helps me if I move from area to area. So to live show, performance, to me it's like when you're on an aeroplane, you've got to commit to the activity until you know when to stop.
Okay.
So you read your book until and that's probably the most rewarding, I feel. And then you move to listening to music, then you move to a film, then you move to doing some writing. That's how I like to create. And so right now I'm not making music really. I'm writing lyrics.
You guys are on tour at the moment?
Yeah, we're on tour. So yeah, focusing on the show first and then probably lyrics second when I can find time.
Lyrics for new songs?
Yeah, but...
Or do you write lyrics before you have songs?
Oh, yeah, a lot of the time lyrics before songs.
Really?
Yeah. Because... And I do it just for the joy of writing words. I love writing words.
Okay.
Yeah. And I hear words, I'll pick them up and I'll write them down.
I feel like I don't meet many people who are doing that as much.
It's not the... Yeah, it's not the easiest way. It actually is in a way. Because if you do it, you just bring up a beat and you've got all these words and sometimes they just fit.
Yes.
But I struggle more with choruses than verses because of that, I think.
Because it needs to be a more profound statement?
And it needs to... The chorus needs to really click melodically with with the music behind it. It really needs to be a really nice match.
So have you, developing as a musician, have you studied people or other bands or...
That's all I read is music biographies.
Right.
That's my passion.
Yes. But do you play an instrument now?
Yeah, I play keys.
Yeah.
I've played keys since I was young, but not very well, not very fluently. And I love music theory, so I've always studied that. I went to TAFE for a couple of years.
Right, okay.
And that was really rewarding.
What, the jazz?
Yeah, it was like a jazz course at
The one
NYC.
at Fairfield?
Fairfield.
Yeah, I did a year of the jazz.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
as well, yeah.
Yeah, I really liked that. I especially like music theory. And yeah, I guess always reading about music, but yeah, I'm not very fluent, if you get what I mean, with my playing.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the current, I won't say state because that makes it sound like I'm being negative about it, but on the music industry or music trends and how music is at the moment? I guess even with releasing an album and how you're supposed to do it. The business side or the... Kind of the whole thing.
Okay.
And the fact that there's a million bands now at all time and they're all jizzing in your face.
Right. Well, we're always trying to outdo everyone in that regard.
just
even
more jazz.
Harder and faster and further. But, well, it's interesting.
Do you find it competitive?
Yeah, there is competition, but it's nice when you meet everyone and it turns in from competition to a community, really. And you're just learning off each other and seeing what they're doing. But the Australian scene's very healthy, I feel. I think YouTube's dying because Facebook won't let you put YouTube links. Because when we started, we were basically a YouTube band.
Really?
Yeah.
What, you can't post YouTube?
If you put a YouTube link in Facebook, it'll go to the bottom of the feed because it's their competitor.
I had no idea.
So that's why everyone's doing snippets and then they put the link in a comment. Yeah, to try and get around it. But people aren't going to YouTube anyway because they're on their phones. They don't have proper sound. They just want to see 15 seconds and keep scrolling.
Right.
So, but back in the day, you go to Facebook, it was just full of YouTube videos, and you click from one to the next. So, and that's what we did a music video for every song, because we were like, this is awesome, this is so strong, we can connect with our brand, we can connect with our philosophy through videos. So now it's like we're looking into like virtual reality and other experiential kind of things. I mean, live music is bigger than ever, and all the festival experience and all that kind of thing.
Well, you guys are definitely, that's a huge part of what you do, and are always improving and adding, and every show you've got a new thing. Yeah,
but I don't. It's hard to comment on like the state.
That's. I
don't know. What do you think?
I'm not sure. I actually don't know. That's what I mean. Sometimes I hate it. Okay. And other times I think it's healthy and it's cool and everyone's just doing some great stuff. And then I have another day where I want to kill myself and delete every song I've ever written and never release them and don't want to be a part of any of this thing. Yeah. And then I'm fine again. Yeah. I don't know. I was in the studio yesterday. Before I started, I was really angry about it all. Had a great day, then was like, okay, this is fine. And then I listened to one of the mixes when I got home and then got really upset again.
I know that feeling.
Yeah. But I realized that I'm always pretty much happy eventually.
Right.
And I will always get the song to the place where I've done everything I can.
Yeah.
So I need to not let myself get upset about it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It's pretty natural.
It is very natural. Yeah. But I don't know if I've learned that lesson yet. Well, I'm aware of it.
Yeah. That's
definitely a very good start. This is one that I find interesting. Are you optimistic or pessimistic about the future of humanity?
Very optimistic. I think that's innate.
In you?
I think that's innate in everyone. There's studies that show people see the brighter side of life. I think pessimism's like interesting and cool, but
we were discussing artificial intelligence the other day on tour, and I came to the little bit of a conclusion that God created us in his image, and we are creating another virtual being in our image. Okay. And we think that it's missing something that we have, just like we're missing something that God has. We're not fully God. Yeah. And we're going to do the exact same thing to something else. Okay. And it's going to not necessarily have a soul, but we don't have the whatever the thing that God, and it will just, so then they will exist. And they're just as, like, we could have been, like they say, we're designed by God or whatever. Right. Now we've just designed something else. And so maybe that's the next evolution, is this AI and this robot thing. I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's hard to take yourself out from the hyperbole around technology, because it is so fascinating and changing all the time, but it's definitely one that only makes sense with hindsight.
Yes.
So yeah, for me I just let go and just be in the now. Don't worry about that too much.
Yeah. Well, that's all you can.
Also, politics as well. It's like, it's all.
Do you follow politics?
I find it quite ugly as an activity to follow politics. Mm-hmm. It's not rewarding in any way.
But I feel like you guys must have an awareness of it, or at least you take the piss out of it.
It's constantly being put in your face.
Yeah.
But I'm more interested in the grander narrative, which, is always a big question mark. What is really happening here?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any hobbies when you're not doing rock and roll?
Cooking.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like getting in the zone, cooking. I love that. And I love having people over and cooking for them. I'd like to start my own cooking show.
I would like to see that.
Yeah.
I think you definitely could.
I also want to do some more acting, because I used to do a bit of that. But it's mostly music. It's other than cooking. And yeah,
well, you guys must be pretty much you're full time doing this. There's no way you can achieve everything that you guys have.
No, it's full time. Yeah, which is great. And our manager is in our studio. So every day we're talking business as well. Like, we just can't help but talk about
So
marketing of the music or
it's amazing the difference it makes when you are all together most days. You can achieve so much. As soon as you have to email and wait for the email to come back, productivity goes right down.
Yeah, email is a very bad form of communication. Well, it's misused.
Yeah, well, it just buys you time. So you fire them all off and then you can wait until tomorrow.
It's much better to jump on a phone.
I know, but I guess if you call someone who's, 20 now, don't they be terrified and they won't answer you and they'll think that you're a freak?
I know. It's.
We used to have to call girls' parents' house after school and talk to their dad, and it was fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Now everyone's got a little bit of an escape.
Yeah.
It's interesting though, whether, you always look at the new technology as, but it's always back in my day, people should be doing it this way or something like that. But human beings are always going to be just evolving and it doesn't really matter.
Totally.
It's something of my own where I've found myself being angry or looking at, youth culture sometimes and being that old bloke and then realize, fuck, just let them be. We were fine. They would have looked at us, older generations would have looked at us like we had no idea. So then I guess it just comes down to being a good parent and just teaching morals and ethics. And then all the other shit doesn't really matter.
Yeah. I feel like the younger generation is extremely in touch and sensitive.
They're definitely sensitive. Yeah, I feel we're probably the last. I don't know, because I don't know on a grander scale of the world, but I think we're homophobia. We're like the last generation who'll still be calling people faggot or something,
totally.
and then that's all going to be gone.
Yeah,
and then it will be the same with how we treat animals and the consumption of meat and all those things will definitely change as well. And we'll look back on this time as this barbaric way of living.
There's a lot of kids that aren't drinking as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they just take drugs?
No. There's a lot of sober kids out there, I've found, that are like really in touch and intelligent.
Are you a big party guy? Do you get on it?
No, not really. I don't.
On tour and any of that? You guys?
No, I don't drink really.
Haven't been.
I had a drink on Saturday night at the after party. That was fun, but that just like put me out for 3 days. So.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know how to moderate.
Okay. So. Well, also, I guess it's good when you just want to keep being better at your thing rather than just being a wasted dude.
Yeah.
And you have to perform quite a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't help drinking.
Is the band a party band at all?
No, like we're pretty straight edge. I mean, there's some of us, have a party more than others. One problem was that because we hand out Fosters to the crowd and I'd always get handed a Fosters and then I'd have a sip and get the taste. So then after the show I'd want to drink. Yeah. But now I just don't even design the show so that I don't even get handed a Fosters. So
yeah. That was different. Yeah, I kind of had a big period there of that sort of shit and then people were passing you things and you just don't really want to say no. If you kind of build your image or your thing around being a bit of a party, then you sort of have to live it a little bit.
Well, yeah, we're getting up on stage and partying, and let loose, and every night you're going to a new crowd who's getting drunk and they want you to be part of it. It's kind of absurd.
Yeah. Well, since I stopped drinking, I've definitely found it a lot harder after shows to just even know how to feel. Because you used to just keep chasing the buzz. Yeah. And now you have to calm down.
But you're like, I find it hard to just have normal conversations with people and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, after you've exuded that much energy and you're the star of the show or whatever, like you and the other people in your band have made this party for this hour or whatever it is. And then you've just kind of got to go back to normal life and it's all a little bit weird.
Yeah. Can you sleep after shows?
No, it definitely takes me a while. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm still working out the sober side of things of how to do it. It hasn't been a huge problem or anything. It's just I think I just get a subtle sadness when the gig is over. Yeah. But it used to be that I'd party all night, and then at the end of the tour, I'd have a huge, deep sadness, you know? Because you've always got to pay the piper. It's like this joy. We talk about the joy credit card, where any drugs or anything you do, you've always got to pay it back.
Yeah.
So at least now after a gig, I just have to pay it back for a little bit. Then.
Nice.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Hey, I think that probably covers it, my man.
Awesome.
Thank you very much for taking the time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Monty. It was a pleasure to sit down with you, pick your brains, see what's going on in that wild mane of hair that you have. He's a very stylish guy. I like him a lot, both those two and Client Liaison. They got the right stuff. If you haven't checked out their record, it is called Diplomatic Immunity. It's great. Those guys are great. Get on board the Client Liaison train. I know they've got a bright future. They're going to keep pushing. They're going to keep doing cool stuff, you know, keep challenging themselves, which I think every great artist should do. So full respect to those guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm going to have more episodes soon, so stick around. I'd say subscribe, but I don't even know if I have that function. Oh yeah, I do, on the iTunes app. Subscribe, that's what they say. That's what people on the internet say. So there we go, I said it.